Well, good morning, Americans. This is Election Day 2016. This is the day when we find out whether a corrupt criminal will take America in the direction of the abyss, into the darkness of a Soviet-style empire, or if we'll give a businessman a chance to do what he says he's going to do, bring back jobs, prosperity, restore the middle class, and get rid of Obamacare. I am coming to you from FYN TV, North Georgia's only interline live talk show, and I can be reached at 706-889-9700 or george@fetchernews.com if you have something you'd like to say or some comment you'd like to make. Whatever it is, I want you to go out today, and if you haven't already voted, go vote today. And remember, I've got an article here I want to share with you, and it'll take a few minutes. But it's a encapsulation of what should concern us on the history of these two people that are running for public office, for the presidency of the United States. Of course, the biggest story right now is the collapse of Obamacare. I say the biggest story because Obamacare is a law, and it shouldn't be a law. It's a disaster. Obama will not admit it's a disaster. He admits only that it's the fault of its failure is the fault of the insurance companies who can't afford it. So there we go. We're still in a crisis of lies by the Democrat Party. This article, when I find something that I think can say it better than I can, I will give credit and relate it to you. I've vetted it about. But it comes from National Review. And National Review is conservative, but they're pro-Republican Party conservative. In other words, I think that they're more for the elites than they are for the American people. The elites being the Jeb Bush types where are they? We don't know. And I retitled this Hillary's Lying Scheme. We hear a few on the left lament Hillary's stubbornness in stonewalling, lying, and distorting the facts surrounding her unlawful use of her private email server. Well, it's been a 2-year exercise in prevarication on Hillary's part. They talk as if it's her problem, and it was largely the result of not being candid enough soon enough. Nothing could be further from the truth if we define better as more politically viable. And that's the world that Hillary Clinton lives in. That's where she's at. Hillary Clinton in the spring of 2015, from the outset, confessed that she had violated federal law in her transmissions of classified material, or she admitted that she had deleted some emails under subpoena that contained government business, or she had apologized for allotting, as Secretary of State, time to the Clinton Foundation patrons of her husband, on the basis of their donations and honoraria. And she would have lost the primary to Bernie Sanders and landed in jail. That's why she couldn't come clean. Had the president, Obama, and the Democrat National Committee not intervened to massage the political climate and help wrap the primaries, or had Donna Brazile not continued to sabotage the sanctity of the debates, Hillary might well not have found herself on the eve of the election tied or ahead in the polls of the presidency. For the presidency. So we have all of these schemers in there who have gone out of their way to protect this woman from justice. Had Bill Clinton not met Loretta Lynch on the tarmac in Arizona, James Comey might have acted earlier and with greater effect and avoided his flip-flopping. In other words, in all these cases of malfeasance, Clinton calculated quite correctly that Attorney General Loretta Lynch and the entire Obama administration, as well as the media and the liberal establishment, would rally to her side even when it was evident that her denials were empty and her conduct ethnically bankrupt and clearly illegal. We have a corrupt government. The American government is corrupt. Lying paid off. It got Hillary this far. It could win her the presidency, and there's little likelihood in this world that she will pay a price, and some likelihood that she'll continue to benefit from her smooth prevarications. Cosmic justice will come, as it always does, but probably in her dotage, depending if cancer or Alzheimer's or whatever else she has doesn't take her sooner. The truth is that for all her campaign weaknesses, her voice, her demeanor, her stamina, her health, she remains an effective liar and cynically and correctly believes that she is largely immune from accountability. In fact, borne out by the very fact that she's the Democrat candidate still in this 2016 election. They go high, we go low. Clinton enjoys quoting the supposed hip ethical platitudes of Michelle Obama, and by association, her husband, for campaigning even more nobly while Trump campaigns more ignominiously. In fact, the Clinton campaign has matched all mud thrown by Trump toss for toss, perhaps even more so, given its far greater cash reserves. This week, this final week, she and the President of the United States were falsely alleging that Trump welcomed the official endorsement of the Ku Klux Klan. Of the Ku Klux Klan. And if Trump had sat on a bench at a rally of the Ku Klux Klan, the way Obama once described himself as being mentioned by the racist, anti-American, anti-Semitic Reverend Audacity Hope Jeremiah Wright, he would have been in trouble too. The KKK incident also happened at a sports event, a baseball game, where some ignorant news broadcaster saw KKK up on the wall of the stadium and didn't realize that the K stood for a knockout. And so he bloviated to the world his ignorance. I love it when that happens. It's Maud's World versus Archie Bunker. That was a great metaphor. All in the family, there was nothing going high about labeling millions as deplorables and not real Americans any more than Obama took the high road when he gave his Klinger speech, his typical white person speech, or his get in their faces and bring a gun to a knife fight speech. Most recently, Obama was all but assuring that aliens could vote without fear of consequences. Once again, fleshing out Trump's rigged election paranoia as not so paranoid. Obamas have often gone low. Hillary goes low. Trump goes low. They all, by the very nature of being politicians or wanting to be politicians, they go low. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama in 2008 suggested that Hillary was unfit for the White House. And if you can't run your own house, you can't run the White House. She serially declared that she had never been proud of her country until her husband ran for president. That her country was downright mean, and that they were perpetually raising the bar on the 1%er victimized Obamas. That may have been campaigning at some level, but it certainly was not going high. In sum, the Obamas have often gone low. Hillary goes low, Trump goes low. They all, by their very nature of being politicians, go low. The only difference between them is that Trump has less often, in hypocritical fashion, bragged that he ever goes high at all. In that way, Hillary and in the way that Hillary and the president and Obama now claim that they do. Clinton finally got debate questions in advance. That's very likely. We know that now. Without a peep of moral compunction over refusing such an ethical edge. Her team insulted Latinos, insulted Catholics, and she predicted making lots of money by virtue of selling influence accruing from her public office. And we are at a break time, and I am being signaled that it's time to listen to our sponsors. So I'll see you on the other side. We'll continue this interesting discussion.
Looking for in a vehicle, start your search at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. We've simplified the process so you can move on to what matters, your family.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
Pizza Hut makes the best pizza in the entire universe, but they won't tell you that. I've been marooned on this planet for a while now. You are an impressive race. Your children know excellent hiding places. Your oceans aren't filled with lava. And you figured out how to combine a grilled cheese sandwich with a Pizza Hut pizza. Surely interstellar travel will soon follow. And then I can finally get back home. Round. Round like home. The grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Proof that no one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is the big one. The 20% off MSRP model year-end clearance at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. With huge savings over $3,600 off the redesigned Malibu. Now just $20,400. Save over $8,600 off Silverado Crew Cab LT. Now just $33,500. 20% off new Chevys. Right here, right now. At Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead. Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Well, welcome back, my friends. This is George McClellan at George's Hour at FetcherNews.com, North Georgia's only live internet talk show. And we were talking about an article that came up in the National Review, which I enjoyed so much. And then we're going to continue it. And if you need to comment, you feel like you need to comment, please, 706-889-5825, and we'll talk about it. There was nothing high in all of that, any more than Obama's own outright lying to the American people about the Affordable Care Act, or his insisting that he first learned of Hillary's unlawful private email server when he read it in the news, like the rest of us, or his administration's use of the IRS to hound pre-election opponents, especially conservatives. Cruelty and coarseness are unattractive traits even in politics. But they have even worse, they reek even worse when perfumed with sanctimony. Isn't that a wonderful line? To believe that, we would have to accept two premises. First, that a crude and vulgar Trump is cruder and more vulgar in matters of sex than, for example, President Kennedy or President Clinton, both still worshipped by liberals as landmark presidents. Trump's business deals are as questionable as the sources of LBJ's fortunes, which bothered few in the media. Trump is Trump, with a personal life as checkered as Hillary's, but amplified by his money and the opportunities of gratification and crudity afforded in one's Manhattan private life tree of the worries of a discreet politician. Second, ever since the ascendancy of their war room, the Clinton-inspired left has attacked the integrity and morality of all Republican presidential candidates. McCain was rendered a near senile coot, confused about the existence of his wife's wealth and the number of their estates. No finer man ran for president than Mitt Romney. And by November 2012, when he lost, he had been reduced to a bullying hazer in his teenage years, a vulgar capitalist, a heartless plutocrat who was rude to his garbage man, tortured little dogs, had an elevator in his house, and provided horses and stables to his aristocratic wife. All were earlier lies of extravagance or irrelevant, and all insidiously cemented the picture of the gentlemanly Romney and his preppy, out-of-touch old white guy snob, and graciously cruel to the less fortunate. And that's how the Democrats act. Predictions in the test of time, Trump was truly more vulgar than either McCain or Romney. But what voters he lost owing to his crass candor, he may well have gained back through his slash and burn, take no prisoners willingness to fight back against liberal smear machine. We can envision what Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, or Ted Cruz would look like after 6 months of going high from the Clinton campaign treatment. It is a mistake to believe that any other candidate would have better dealt with the Clinton Podesta hit teams than Donald Trump. All we can assume is that most would have suffered far more nobly than Trump. It would be wonderful if a Republican candidate ran with Romney's personal integrity, Rubio's charisma, Walker's hands-on experience, Cruz's commitment to constitutional conservatism, and Trump's energy. His animal cunning of wanting to replicate the very fascism, but unfortunately such multifaceted candidates are rare. One does not have to go back to the 18th and 19th century to find really, really, really rotten campaigns with mudslinging and all of that. The extensive cover-up of FDR's terminal health in November 1944 made Hillary's dodges about her conditions minor stuff. McGovern often likened Nixon to Hitler. The 1964 LBJ Daisy ad, resurrected by Hillary Clinton, by the way, trafficked in the chance that Barry Goldwater, the World War II pilot, was an utter nut who would blow up the world with nuclear weapons. The year 1968 saw a riot, assassination, and blood in the streets when the noble politician George H.W. Bush and his good old boy henchman Lee Atwater got done with the gentlemanly Michael Dukakis in 1968. He was a water polluter, a murderer releasing wannabe tank-driving wimp, dirt matched up by a Dukakis campaign manager down in Brazil who stroked rumor mongering that the family man Bush was a philandering hypocrite. And so campaigns go on. This is not the end. When Bill Clinton's hit team, fending off charges that he was a pro-communist, marijuana smoking draft dodger, finished with George H.W. Bush in 1992. and he was now without the services of the brilliant Atwater. The old combat fighter was a wimp and a near partner of Iran, near planner of the Iran-Contra debacle, and likely be indicted by his cronies, such as the good but unfairly hounded Caspar Weinberger. Again, spare us the sanctimony. Character assassinations and cruelty have been trademarks of U.S. elections. In 1864, what General Fremont, General George B. McClellan, and the Copperheads over the year said about Lincoln makes today's disparagement seem tame. During that election year, newspaper grandee Horace Greeley flipped and flopped over the up and down Lincoln more than any Republican, never, sometimes, always Trumper up for re-election. What was new in 2016 was not Hillary's hit team or Trump's crooked Hillary refrains, but the social media age of the internet, the Facebook, Twitter, and the 24/7 cable news. For the first time, the electronic, idleless eye of millions hunted down race, class, gender, politically incorrect gaffes to offer them up as a support window into a candidate's dark soul. And still to this minute, nobody has claimed criminality on Trump's part. And yet, Hillary is filled with it, absolutely filled with it. The biggest myth of this election was that it was merely about who was worse between two unsavory candidates whose character flaws made issues irrelevant. Think about that. They're always worried about their character flaws, but ignore the issues. The Democrats would like to do that. The initial premise may be true, that both were unattractive figures, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. But they certainly had quite different political agendas, a fact known to the voters, on matters of Obamacare, fossil fuels, trade, the Supreme Court, abortion, illegal immigration, defense spending, the debt, taxes, regulation, and a host of other issues. Hillary, in her convenient hard left remake, took an unapologetic, hard progressive stance. Donald Trump, in his later incarnation, adopted positions mostly identical to those of most conservatives. Both were candid in their views about a future Supreme Court. Hillary would likely expand sanctuary cities. Trump would deny them federal funds. Hillary would not have been more anti-ethical to Trump on Obamacare, and so on and on. Clear choices on the issues of 2016 were far more distinct than in 1960, 1968, or 1992. Ironically, two unattractive candidates canceled each other out and had the odd effect of turning attention to the Supreme Court or health care in a way not true of prior nice campaigns. Also, in mythical fashion, perhaps a few never-Trumpers clung to a fantasy that the real Hillary was only play-acting hard left. Once safely elected, supposedly she would revert to centrist Bill Clinton's themes of the 1990s, as she welcomed former bipartisan neocons back into her advisory circle and service as newly minted neoliberals to follow Dean Acheson's vision. And it was an even greater myth that Trump was going to reinvest his 1980s libertine self and govern to the left of Obama. Both ran on partisans, contrary agendas, and supporters of both were left wondering what's going to happen next. Well, I know Clinton is a known entity, and Trump is a known entity, and Clinton is a criminal, and I have not seen any of Trump. He's a man doing what he said he was going to do. Now, we have, there's so many articles that come out here. We still have the problem now of the FBI director once again inserting himself into the campaign and leaving Americans wondering whether the government ever, if there's a two tiers of justice under our law, one for politicians named Hillary Clinton and one for the simple guy out here who who mishandles his own classified information. The charges are piling up, particularly in the military, where guys have mishandled their classified. They either lose their job, go to jail, spend some time in jail, spend a lot of money. And this woman, Hillary Clinton, so voraciously, intentionally, you mishandle her classified government information. She should be in prison right now, not even allowed to run for the presidency. Article here: Senate control could remain a mystery until December. Now, why would that be? The balance of the Senate could remain a mystery for several weeks after November the 8th, after today, thanks to an unusual election process in Louisiana that's likely to leave the political outcome of its Senate race unknown for another month. Are we interested in Louisiana's problem? I don't think so. I don't want to pursue it. In typical fashion, Clinton's staffers claim that more WikiLeaks emails are fake. Well, you just got to believe they're fake. They're fake. Jennifer Palmieri claimed in a tweet Sunday that the WikiLeaks emails included fraudulent information. How would she know that? How would she know that they were fraudulent information? She just throws that out there to create another diversion and make us think, oh, well, it's those nasty Russians. And I tell you what, Russia has nothing to do with this. Russia has nothing to do with this. I cannot envision the KGB being skillful enough to have a person like Julian Assange create a WikiLeaks program that has exposed the criminality in our government. So, Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's top spokesman claimed in a tweet Sunday that WikiLeaks emails included fraudulent information without pointing to any prior case where an email had been faked. So they're just talking. Here's a good article too. A Clinton presidency could be a crisis from day one. Bill Clinton was approaching the midway point of his second term when scandal consumed his presidency. If elected today, Hillary may not have to wait that long. She will be hobbled by probes and controversies from the moment she takes office. And we're going to examine that a little bit. The article is written by, it was presented in the Washington Examiner. The late-breaking development in the FBI investigation of Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while Secretary of State not only made the presidential race much closer, they have virtually guaranteed that even if Clinton wins, she will be hobbled by probes and controversies from the moment she takes office. This is true even with FBI Director James Comey saying Sunday that he stands by his original recommendation that Clinton face no charges. Donald Trump the Democrats already started screaming, wanting him to be fired. Well, there's more on that. I will explain that when we come back after these breaks. Cole?
Looking for in a vehicle? Start your search at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. We've simplified the process so you can move on to what matters, your family.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia: Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
Pizza Hut makes the best pizza in the entire universe, but they won't tell you that. I've been marooned on this planet for a while now. You are an impressive race. Your children know excellent hiding places. Your oceans aren't filled with lava. And you figured out how to combine a grilled cheese sandwich with a Pizza Hut pizza. Surely interstellar travel will soon follow. And then I can finally get back home. Round. Round like home. The grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Proof that no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Better days ahead.
This is the big one. The 20% off MSRP model year-end clearance at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. With huge savings over $3,600 off the redesigned Malibu. Now just $20,400. Save over $8,600 off Silverado Crew Cab LT. Now just $33,500. 20% off new Chevys. Right here, right now. At Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead. Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Well, welcome back, friends, to this last final segment of my Georgia's Hour on FetcherNews.com, North Georgia's only live online internet talk show. I'm George McClellan, and I'm here from 10 to 11. You can contact me at 706-889-5825. This is the big day. This is the big election day. I concluded the last segment by mentioning the fact that the Democrat Party, who praised Comey for making no charges, bringing no charges against Clinton, or recommending no charges to be brought against Clinton, and now despised him because he said he reopened the investigation on new evidence found on Anthony the pervert Weiner's laptop, and demanding that he be fired. Well, he can't be fired. He can be forced to quit possibly, but he can't be fired because of an agreement that allows him to keep that job for 10 years as director of the FBI. And this is because the FBI has had a long career of righteous directors who have followed the law, obeyed the Constitution, and did what they were expected to do, and thus avoided political conflict. Avoiding political conflict is paramount to the trust in the government that the American people should have in their government. Well, anyway, now they want his head. So now he's said, well, he's repeated that, no, we're still not going to persecute or prosecute Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump has made that a big part of his closing argument. Here we go again with Clinton. He said while campaigning in Jacksonville last week, remember, the impeachment and the problem, she is likely to be under investigation for many, many years. Also likely to conclude in a criminal trial. This is not what we need for this country, folks. And that's what Donald Trump is saying, and he's right. He's absolutely right. I don't know why she thinks she can be a successful president just because she's the first woman, because she isn't going to be successful. She's a criminal. And I think that her next 4 years will be telling Congress, fighting off Congress is going to put an end to it, provided it stays Republican. If it goes Democrat, then America will go into the abyss. If we can keep the Congress and we can keep both the Senate and the House and get the presidency, then we have a chance of getting back out into the sunlight of pure reason, honesty, good government. Otherwise, we're doomed. Trump said that we need somebody that is going to work to bring our jobs back, to take care of our military, to strengthen up our borders. These are all problems that Trump talks about, and he has given us solutions. Trump continued, this is not what we need. It is going to be a mess. And they say it. This is going to be a mess for many years to come before they figure it all out, is that we don't need it. And right now is the time. You go vote. You vote for Hillary. You vote for treason. Vote for Trump. And let's stop this problem so we can avoid these years and years and years of Hillary Clinton's problems. Okay, now I'm going to go to my personal thoughts. I wrote this out this morning, and I haven't mailed it yet, but it will go out shortly. Where we are headed. After the final debate, remember, I just came back from a trip abroad, and I was in Ireland, actually. So whatever I got on my iPhone through Wi-Fi. But after the final debate between Trump and Clinton, a question was asked that, in my opinion, rises to the highest level of silliness. Did Trump lose the debate? Well, I gave some thought before finally falling back on some truths that I had learned when I was a little boy in my youthful upbringing. No, Trump did not lose the debate with Hillary Clinton, because debating with evil is repugnant to the truth. Arguing with socialists, the Democrats, and that includes criminal organizations like Clinton's Arkansas Mafia, who obey no law except to win, should be avoided at all costs. They cannot debate because they have no truths upon which to support their claims. Instead, they lie, yell out, outshout their opponents, call them names, and drag up unsubstantiated lies to besmirch the character of their opponents. At this time, Trump is a known quantity. He is brash, he is truthful, he is honest, he's successful, and he's rich. The year-long clash between Trump and the Clinton organized crime machine has revealed Trump to be exactly what he is, a really wealthy man who, as he built his fortune and his real estate empire, enjoyed the perks that go with it. Yet no criminality has ever been attached to him, only claims of racism and the other usual socialist euphemisms associated with successful people who run businesses contrary to the democratic ideas, rules of socialist communal living, with government setting the standards for all, just to be fair. At this final point in our existence as a once great free nation, guided by the principles of our founding fathers, the direction we go either will be into the darkness of the criminal state, where the odious forces of Hillary's corrupt government can finally throw aside the rule of law and arbitrarily dictate to us the rules of living that would accommodate their big money providers. Apparently, the oligarchs who really control America, the big money providers, are the big pharma, the 5 giant food producing firms, and the banks, whose chemically the big agricultural businesses whose chemically induced fast-growing food products promise salvation from world starvation, and whose growth is absorbing thousands of arable acres of America's farmland, driving individual family farmers out of business, reducing small Midwest communities to near ghost towns, and submitting Americans to the will of the oligarchs. That's where we're headed. It was a tenet of Karl Marx that control of a country's food production, as well as its educational system, was a primary first step to obtaining complete control of any country. Lenin, introduced it into a revolutionary pre-Soviet Russia, and it took a criminal, Joseph Stalin, only a few years after Lenin died, to seize control of Lenin's government and turn his Soviet communist state into a Soviet criminal communist state. Titles and names mean nothing and can hide everything. For America, if Hillary prevails, we can anticipate a fast-forward dash into the idea of a one-world government as outlined in the United Nations Agenda 21 program. America's rural areas will be depopulated by a lack of employment, services, accommodations, and food. And people will be crowded into the communist ideal of high-rise, multiple living dwellings in central locations. It's already underway. This is where we stand today. I might point out that Georgia has been divided into districts. And we have an unvoted, unelected district in which several counties here are located, are part of, starting to take hegemony over the decisions we make in our own county with our elected officials. It's the Agenda 21 business. At this time also, Hillary is a known quantity. She is a criminal of the first order and totally protected by the corrupted organizations that once pledged to support and defend the U.S. Constitution and the rule of law. Now I'm talking about the FBI and the DOJ, Department of Justice, among others. America's government is corrupted, and the Clintons have precipitated its decline. It cannot be allowed that Hillary Clinton should assume the chair of the leader of the free world. Remember, freedom is the goal. Constitution is the way. And that's my thought for the day. And I had something else pointed out I wanted to fill in. Not at the end of this, after today, win or lose, the Republican Party is going to be in a battle of its own. It's going to be in a big battle. If Trump wins, he will have seized control of the Republican Party by just by the strength of his personality, I suppose. But there will be a new Republican Party. All the old ones, those other guys, they will either have to reorganize themselves and hope that the base comes along, and the base isn't. The base has already gone to Trump. But there's a conflict coming in the Republican Party. If Trump loses, they will blame the voters, us, for casting away the Republican Party to support this guy. Trump's election was a poke in the eye. Remember, he was one of 17 people. He beat 16 other candidates running to be the Republican representative. He beat them all. He beat them all. And he stands alone now today, as our presidential candidate. What happens tomorrow will set the course for our century, for our government for a long time. And will our Republican government survive? I do not know. I know that there are enough Republicans up there who voted for Obamacare, who voted for the spending bill, omnibus spending bill, everything supporting the things that we hate most: Planned Parenthood, Obamacare, all these odious programs, and global warming. The stupidest idea in the world that they are trying to force us to believe is global warming. Did you know that the sun has slowed down here recently? There's no sunspots anymore, and our weather's already starting to change. They will claim that it's the automobile and pollution. The left will. It's the bloody sun doing it. The sun is doing it. The sun is responsible for our weather. And that's a known fact. We've known that for years. But here we've got these people that are so intent on stealing our money, they'll use any program in the world to make it happen. They're trying to convince us that global warming is man-caused, totally ignoring the 196, and I counted them today, 196 active volcanoes poofing out mercury and all kinds of poisonous metals into the air every bloody day. Some of them are just small little things, but there's some big eruptions going on. Alaska's got 5 volcanoes. 2 of them are working right now. There's that one in Hawaii. One in Mexico just went off again. One in Colombia just went off. Indonesia is full of volcanoes just puffing out all kinds of stuff, and yet they want us to believe that that human beings are responsible for air pollution, methane gas. Cattle make methane gas. Sheep make methane gas. Human beings create methane gas. So what are they going to do? Kill all the cattle and we're going to start eating weeds for ourselves? I don't believe so. We're dealing with stupid people, and we've allowed them to get in charge of our country, our thinking, our daily living. We have been too lax in protecting our rights, and they're almost gone. They're almost gone. The election battle between Trump and Clinton and the civil war in the Republican Party are dominating, or will dominate, all of the attention of this election season. As a result, little is noted about the Democrats and whether they have recovered from their own insular strife that played out in the primary between Clinton and Bernie Sanders. I can guarantee you it has not played out. And we'll see today, when Sanders voters go to the poll, we'll understand how far that goes, how deep their wounds are. Does time heal all wounds? I don't think so. Democrat strategist Dane Strother said, for the most part, Democrats are unified as never before. I don't think so. We already know in early voting that black voters just haven't gone to rush to the polls. We already know that. But white voters, Spanish voters, everybody else is flowing to the polls for pre-election. The raw primary between Sanders and Clinton created some wounds, but the stitches arrived in the name of Donald Trump. Oh, they made him the villain, so we got to reunite. We have to unite against Trump. Dane Strother points to Green Party nominee Dr. Jill Stein's 2 to 3 point place in the contest as proof that progressives are following Sanders' advice that now is no time to cast a protest vote. In any other year, Democrats would have the luxury of throwing elbows at each other, but everyone is cognizant of the crystal clear disaster that a Trump presidency would be for progressives and America, said Strother. The Democrat Party is definitely experiencing its own share of strife, which seems to be going largely simmering under the radar. Jeff Bauer, a political science professor at Keystone College, said that while you see high-profile surrogates such as First Lady Michelle Obama, the president himself, Vice President Joe Biden, former Vice President Al Gore, hitting the stump for Clinton's campaign, giving an appearance of party unity, under the surface, there are profound chasms that have been developing for some time. One is that the Clintons hate the Obamas and the Obamas hate the Clintons. Most notably is the continued distrust of Clinton's conduct and policies by Bernie Sanders and his followers. While many have reluctantly come to Clinton's side out of fear of a Trump presidency, they have no real loyalty to Clinton. The recently leaked emails have also served to confirm suspicions about Clinton's ethics and progressive credentials. She's not progressive. She's like Obama. She'll put on any cloak of any group that she wants and she's talking to at the time. Even if they do get themselves to vote for Clinton in the general election, they will remain as adversarial watchdogs during a Clinton presidency. And so we're coming up on the 11 o'clock hour, and I'm being highlighted to wrap it up. And this has been enjoyable. All I want to remind you is, if you haven't voted, vote. Vote today, vote early, vote often, vote for Trump. That's what the Democrats are doing. They're voting early and they're voting often. They're even getting dead Republicans to vote for them up in Pennsylvania, I understand, and Chicago. So this is it. I think we'll see you tonight. I'll certainly see you tomorrow morning, and we'll discuss the results of this election. It's always fun to follow Brian. I don't want to yell at everybody like Brian does and scream and holler and make you feel uncomfortable. But there we are. So I'll say farewell. See you tomorrow.